Hey everyone, welcome back to Peace and Carmen. I'm Carmen, and today I thought we'd make some spell jars. So this one that we're gonna make, I'm just gonna relight my candle here. It went out. The one that we're gonna make is for self-love. I have just posted my first yoga video sequence of the series. And I was so excited about it, but it took me all weekend to do, simply because I just wasn't liking how I looked in the videos, and I was just overcritical and things like that, like the things that I'm trying to get rid of. And I realized that this is something that I do need to let go of because my weight is not where it likes to fall for me to feel good in my comfort zone. I've definitely gained that quarantine 15, if you know what I mean. Plus, I was in that relationship that wasn't very good, and in a lot of ways, and with school, like I got that that university 15 too. So I felt like I didn't have a chance with all three of those things coming at me, with like the love weight and all that. Like I didn't have a chance. And especially because my last relationship, it ended with that being one of the triggering for our last fights, is him telling me that like I'm on the verge of being too big for him. You know what I mean? So that was something that I felt like I was holding on to, and I'm ready to let that go. I'm ready to allow myself to have self-acceptance regardless of what size I am, knowing that beauty does not equal skinny, or it does not equate to weight whatsoever. So that's what I'm going to do today. But really, I want it to be about self-acceptance, but also just reminding myself to treat my body right, and to make sure that I'm doing all that I need to do to ensure that it is in its best form, inside and out. So let's get on to it. So to make our spell jars, I have a jar. I have a bunch of herbs. I am a herbalist by all definitions, so I definitely have a lot of herbs here that we're gonna put into our spell jar, and then we're gonna seal it after we write our little petition to ourselves. We'll put that in there, and we're gonna sweeten it up with some honey, some sugar. We got some salt for protection, so we got a lot of things going on here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this, right? So let me just make some space here. And I think I'm going to just bring the camera down so you can see what's happening. So here we have our jar. So I have two crystals that I'm going to put in here. First things first, I did cleanse the jar. So I saged the jar, and I also washed the jar just to ensure that there are no lingering energies, and the spell knows that it is for me. I'm also going to blow in the jar just to get my energy into this jar. And it smells just like sage. It smells really great. So now that my energy is in the jar, some people use like blood, some people use spit, hair, fingernails, things like that. Blowing in it works just fine. It's a breath of life. It works perfectly. So I'm going to start with just starting to put some of my ingredients in here. The first thing I'm going to start with is rose. So I'm putting rose in here for, love and softness. I think that those are incredibly important, especially when trying to deal with your, trying to accept yourself just as it is. I'm also putting calendula in here, which is a great anti-inflammatory herb. It's also antibacterial, antifungal. So it's really good for just overall health. It's also yellow, which brings a lot of joy, and I would like to have joy in my sweet little self-love jar. I'm also going to put a little bit of Uva Uri in here. So Uva Uri is another one that is super good for you. It fights infections. A lot of people have used it for UTIs, actually, because of like cranberries and things like that. But it's good in a lot of different infections. So just to ensure that I have the best optimal health in a lot of different situations, I got all those beautiful herbs in there. Hopefully you can see this side too. I'm also going to put a little bit of Brahmi in here. So Brahmi is an herb that is very big in Ayurveda. Brahmi, they say, was left from the gods as a way to connect with, as a way for humans to connect with the gods. And that is how, and I've had an out-of-body experience on Brahmi. I really do feel like Brahmi is a magical herb for me. So I really do love it. I also have basil. Basil is a great herb for pain relief. It also helps with blood vessel health, things like that. It's an antioxidant. It's an immune booster. We also have rosemary. That's an immune booster. Also antioxidant. Also antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. So this is a great herb to use. Not to mention it is very cleansing. This is definitely an herb that is in a lot of spells and clarification things all the time. It's a big one. Also putting a little bay leaf in there because we all know bay leaves are super powerful. And then we're also going to put in, actually I'll put in this one. I'm going to put in some Kachanar Gugglu, or Gugglu. This is also a Ayurvedic thing. This is a churna, so it's a powder. This has amalaki, bibitaki, haritaki, which are the ingredients in triphala, a very cleansing blend. I made a mess here, so forgive me. It also has cinnamon, which is a very good one to have in your self-love jar. So if you don't have this, which is totally fine, the cinnamon is going to be great. Cardamom is in here. And then the Gugglu resin and our Varuna. So this one is going to be good for thyroid activation, making sure that's working really well. It reduces swelling. It really eliminates all excess kapha in the body. So, and I'm going to do a video on Ayurveda and on kapha, pitta, vata, so you know what those things are. But if you are familiar with Ayurveda, that's the greatest thing about Kachanar Gugglu. It is good for weight loss, things like that. But really, I'm just trying to detoxify, if you can't tell by the herbs that are going in here. I feel like I'm holding on to a lot of excess things that I am trying to allow to leave my body. So that is being added. We're also going to put in some natural sea salt. So the sea salt is going to be used for protection as well. It also just ensures that this spell is going to be working for me. There's no other energies that are coming in with this, so that's also important. And then we're going to put in some cane sugar because we want to keep this sweet. We want to keep this soft. Cane sugar, when you use sugar in these spells, it works a bit faster. We're also going to put honey in there because we want that unctuous, slow-moving process when it comes to our spell as well. So, I got my sugar, I got my salt. I'm just looking around here, making sure that I don't want anything else in here. I'm going to put my citrine in here, which is my birthstone, so I'm just going to add that to it. And I'm also going to put opal, and I'm going to read to you why I'm putting opal in, because I had read this and I was like, oh, this is perfect. So, the blue opal is an emotional soother that realigns the spiritual purpose. It resonates with the throat chakra, which I need, and can enhance communication, especially of that which has been suppressed through lack of confidence, which is definitely the situation for myself. So I thought it was perfect, and it was really drawing me in. I might as yeah, that's really all I wanted to read to you about that one. I thought that was super just relevant to my situation right now. So now that I got my crystals, my herbs, I actually might put a bit more basil and rose in here. Just because I feel like it could use a little more. And it's just beautiful. Alright. And now that we did that, we're going to write our little petition. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this here. So with this, we want to write the things that we are declaring with this spell, right? So the goal of this is to not lift up the pen. We're going to write in cursive, and we don't want to lift up the pen until we go all the way around. I'm also going to just write my name 3 times, just because 3 is my number. So they know who it's for. Alright. So, I love myself. Ooh. Unconditionally. My weight does not determine my worth. I live a healthy lifestyle because I love myself. All right. So I'm going to take this off. This is my petition. I'm going to fold it 3 times towards me just because 3 is my number. I'm going to pop this in here. I'm going to take a second just to set my intention into this spell once more. And now I'm going to add my honey. I am confident, intelligent, and trusting. I'm just going to give it a pat. Let it seep to the bottom here. My body heals itself and stays in its optimal health. This is what it looks like so far. It's beautiful, right? So I am just going to make this a bit safer here. And I was actually going to use a blue candle, but I think I'm just going to use, I might use both, actually. But I'm going to use this white candle because it has too much wax and all my candles keep going out anyway, so I feel like I got to get rid of some of it. So we're sealing this with the wax, saying the intention. Now that all these are out, I can actually probably just dip this in. And if you have a longer candle, you can have it just like dip down, or drip down, I mean. And that's very nice too. So we're just sealing this guy up. I got my white wax on there, and I am going to use just a bit of blue as well. All right. All right. So here is our self-love jar. And this is something that you can kind of keep discreet. You can hide it away. You can have it on display and have it just someplace that you can just remind yourself that you love yourself and that you're worthy of love and your body is healthy. So just a quick little self-love jar for you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Peace and Carmen. I appreciate each one so much. And until next time, thank you.